Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
We're expert in fascism. We're leaving the U.S. New York Times Opinion. So where are you going?
I'm a historian of totalitarianism.
I look at fascist rhetoric.
I've been thinking about the sources of the worst kinds of history for a quarter of a century.
Experts say the constitutional crisis is here now.
The Trump administration deporting hundreds of men without a trial.
A massive purge at the FBI.
Wait, so he's only deporting men?
To make people afraid of speaking out against him.
I'm leaving to the University of Toronto because I want to do my work without the fear that I will be punished for my words.
Okay.
The lesson of 1933 is you get...
No, he's leaving too, because
Oh.
in the intro I said, oh, I wonder where they're going. Well, one of them is going to Canada.
out sooner rather than later.
I've spent a lot of time in the last decade trying to prepare people if Trump were elected once, let alone twice.
Look what happened. Is this crazy?
I did not flee Trump. But if people are going to leave the United States or leave American universities, there are reasons for that. One thing you can definitely learn from Russians
Is that it's essential to set up centers of resistance in places of relative safety.
we want to make sure that if there is a political crisis in the U.S., that Americans are organized.
We've just gotten started. You haven't even seen anything yet. It's all just kicking off.
My colleagues and friends, they were walking around and saying, we have checks and balances, so let's inhale, checks and balances,
They put this
exhale.
background music make me take it very unseriously.
The dramatic.
Yeah, it's like, what is this? It's
Yes,
like a drama?
It's
What?
drama, yeah. They're pushing a narrative, all right.
Checks and balances. And I thought, my God, we're like people on the Titanic saying our ship can't sink. We've got the best ship, we've got the strongest ship, we've got the biggest ship, our ship can't sink. And what you know as a historian is that there is no such thing as a ship that can't sink.
The golden age of America has only just begun.
America has long had an exceptionalist narrative. Fascism can happen elsewhere, but not here.
But talking about American exceptionalism is basically a way to get people to fall into line. If you think that there's this thing out there called America, and it's exceptional, that means that you don't have to do anything. Whatever is happening, it must be freedom. And so then what your definition of freedom is just gets narrowed and narrowed and narrowed and narrowed, and soon you're using the word freedom, but what you're talking about is authoritarianism.
Toni Morrison warned us.
The descent into a final solution is not a jump. It's one step. And then another. And then another.
We are seeing those steps accelerated right now.
There are some words, in Russian in particular, that I feel help us to understand what's happening in the United States, because we now have those phenomena. Произвол. It's the idea that the powers that be can do anything they want to you, and you have no recourse. This not knowing who is next creates a state of paralysis in society.
The tough student who's
I mean, it's been always the case that the powers that can do anything, and you have no recourse. Like, look at all the black people getting abused by the police, shot and killed, and what can they do? Nothing. So this is nothing new. It's been here. This is not something that came with Trump. It's been happening for decades.
Yeah, they're saying that the steps have been happening, but they're accelerated more with Trump.
visa was removed because she co-authored an article in a Tufts student newspaper.
I thought, what would I do if guys in masks tried to grab my student? Would I scream? Would I run away? Would I try to pull the mask off? Would I try to videotape the scene? Would I try to pull the guys off of her? Maybe I would get scared and run away. The truth is, I don't know. Not knowing terrified me.
It's a deliberate act of terror. It's not necessary.
You know, this must be like very shocking for Americans to see.
This is a citizen's arrest, or is it like
No, these are
agents?
ICE.
Oh.
Yeah, these are ICE. I'm assuming they're ICE. She's getting arrested for speaking out against the government, being an immigrant on a visa.
I feel like they should send paperwork first.
Well, obviously, yeah, that's the legal way to do it. Then that's the problem. That's what they're describing. This is they're acting like that without. It's just, to me, this is not shocking. Like, coming is from like post-Soviet country, whatever. I, as a not not a citizen, would never even cross my mind to write a paper. Or just overall, when I see like these immigrants getting arrested for like protest against American government, like stuff like that. Like as an immigrant, I would never even cross my mind to do that. Like, why would you ever do that? This is not your country. Like you can, at any time, shit can happen like this. That is the freedom, right? That's supposedly supposed to happen like that. But I don't. For me, it would just never cross my mind to do that.
It's just being done to create a spirit of us and them.
Продажность. It's a word in Russian for corruption, but it's larger than corruption. It refers to a kind of existential state in which not only everything but everyone can be bought or sold.
Critics are calling this a quid pro quo deal between atoms.
Has maintained that narrative that, oh, a person can be bought or paid, that he could, take someone's life in the middle of the street and he'll be okay. He won't go to jail.
And President Trump.
I'm committed to buying and owning Gaza.
He made $2.5 billion today, and he made $900 million.
There's an expression in Polish. I found myself at the very bottom, and then I heard knocking from below. In Russian, that gets abbreviated to there is no bottom.
No,
We cannot allow a
I hate
handful
this
of
saying.
communist radical left judges.
I feel like you say this saying, next you know you find out, oh, there is
Yeah,
lower.
you hit rock
That's
bottom,
lower.
but that's not rock bottom.
Don't
It's
say
lower. Yeah.
Don't say this thing.
Judges to obstruct the enforcement of our laws.
What starts to matter is not what is concealed, but what has been normalized. There's no limit to the depravity.
President Trump did not rule out the possibility of a third term.
And the sadism.
The White House released this video titled ASMR, Illegal Alien Deportation Flight.
And the cruelty that we are watching now play out in real time.
This facility
Maybe
is
he
one of the
wants
tools
to
in our
come as like a vice president
Oh, Trump?
to Vance, yeah.
That is possible. There's nothing against that.
Yeah.
That is legally allowed, I believe. Yeah. You cannot serve as the president. I think as a vice president. However, to be fair, if he does that, that does give Putin's playbook, because that's what Putin did with Medvedev in 2008, I think. So Medvedev.
I mean, Joe Biden, he was a vice president before he was president.
No, but Putin was the president. Then he became like the prime minister or whatever, and then he went back to being president. But while he was prime minister, he was controlling the president basically. So if that's
Because I'm curious to see how a working dynamic happens when you switch roles, but you already were comfortable one position who's really calling the shots. And I don't think I've ever seen a president become vice president to see that kind of dynamic.
yeah, but I don't know if Trump is actually calling the shots. He's definitely the face of the shots, but we saw what happened when he pulled his little stunt and the stock market crashed. He got a bunch of phone calls from people with deeper pockets than him, and he reversed that with the quickness, which shows me that he's not really running nothing. If he was really running, he wouldn't care. He's just, that's what I'm doing, I don't give a fuck. He gives a fuck.
He doesn't want what happened to the president in Romania back in the day.
I don't know, but it's not giving that he's running, because he is.
I think he still wants to be liked. I think he is running it, but he also is he wants to be liked too.
Well, yeah, I do think I think being liked is a big thing for him.
Because I think he just, in his mind, just, this was part of the plan anyways. At the end of the day, it's him.
It is him, but I just think that there are people that can pull those strings too. He's not the puppeteer. That's just my opinion.
toolkit that we will use.
You have to continually ask yourself the question, is this okay? Is there a line I wouldn't cross? Is there something I would not do?
People say, oh, the Democrats should be doing more, they should be fixing things. But if you want the Democrats to do things, you have to create the platform for them. You have to create the spectacle, the pageantry, the positive energy, the physical place where they can come to you.
Poland recently went through a shift towards authoritarianism. Unlike in Russia, unlike in Hungary, the media remained a place in Poland where you could criticize the regime. And as a result, democracy returned. The moral of Poland is that our democratic institutions, the media, the university, and the courts, are essential. You know you're living in a fascist society when you're constantly going over in your head the reasons why you're safe. What we want is a country where none of us have to feel that way.
Oh, where did the others plan to move
I
to?
don't know where they
Is the
moving.
secret?
I don't know.
Can I see
Interesting
the
enough
comments?
to say, oh, we're leaving. Well, where are you going? You know?
That's a natural response.
Yeah, because it's so easy to say, oh, we're leaving. But, well, it's not that easy to just go to another country. They're not going to take you. Like, what's your, why are you coming? Do you have a visa?
Maybe
What you
you're
going to
fleeing
do?
for persecution because obviously you see they're taking people off the street like that with no proper due process.
But the person was not American. These seem like they're American. I don't know.
I don't know what's their position in the States, but there should be still due process.
No, I agree with that. When you tell Americans that this is their 1930s, most of them ask what happened in 1933. The unfortunate truth here is that all the people watching this video understands that the people who should be seeing this and learning from this will never want to watch. If I have to be questioned about my loyalty to the president to get back into my own country, then we have a fascist country.
This was a pretty sad
and very dramatic.
sad video, but they were true. They say that if you expect change, you have to give those a platform to do so.
What do you mean?
Like what they said about, oh, everyone say to the Democrats, oh, you need to do something, but you need to have like something to stand on, like a platform to do so, giving them power. So if you don't vote and you have the red wave in a sense, then how do you expect the opposing party to do anything, or any party to do anything? You know?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
It takes steps. Honestly, it takes steps. Guys, let's see the comments. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.